Welcome to the Picture of Success podcast. Here we speak to outstanding individuals who have made their mark in career and in life. And today in this show we have Dr. Shahidah Muhammad Sharif, ex-CEO of PETRONAS Research, Fellow of Academy of Sciences Malaysia, Fellow of American Chemical Society, and ex-CEO of PETRONAS Research. In her post-retirement life, Dr. Shahidah remains active in Malaysia science and research scene and continues to be a beacon of women leadership. Dr. Shahidah, it is great to have you in this show.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Yazid, for inviting
Waalaikumsalam.
me.
No worries. It's a good time for us to catch up. And I've known you for years, Dr. Shahida. But for
Yes.
just just my viewers, and to start the ball rolling, could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself, your journey, and your career, and how did you actually get to be in one of the top positions in the research world in Malaysia?
Wow. Okay, that's a long one. Are you ready for this? I was born 57 years ago with the name Shahidah binti Muhammad Sharif. I came from a big family, a family of 11, and I'm the youngest. I was born in Batu Pahat, Johor, so Bangsa Johor. So funny that there's 11 of us in the family, and my
11.
dad,
Wow.
yeah, and the funny part was, my dad was a footballer for Malaya team.
Oh, wow.
So probably he planned to have 11 kids, but 9 of them are girls, only 2 boys. So he did not get a football team.
A mixed football team, perhaps.
Yeah, but when I was born, he's already retired from playing, from being a player, but he was coaching soccer to Batu Pahat and Johor team. And he was also working as a clerk in a rubber plantation. So we were living in a small house in middle of the plantation. So it's far away from Batu Pahat actually. So my parents decided to make sure that I have a proper education, because majority of my siblings all educated at the village school. But suddenly, being the youngest, they decided to send me away at the town, Batu Pahat town. So I went to that
Right.
school there, living with my elder sister. She was already working as a nurse then. Upon completion of my standard 6, I was offered to go to Seremban into one of the elite girls boarding school. So that's where I spent another 5 years. And upon completion of SPM exam, I got an offer from Petronas to sponsor me to study in Australia. So I left 2 weeks after SPM. They sent me away. I think I was the first batch who left for Brisbane. Funny because I was actually offered to do architecture. There was no Twin Towers then. They were planning to make me an architect. So they sent me away to Brisbane because University of Queensland has one of the best architecture school.
Right.
Okay. Then the first year of studying in Australia was about we had to do Australian matriculation. The entry level for architecture to Uni Queensland was quite high, so
Right.
you really need to score. But I failed to make it because my English was not 100% what they required, about 90%, I can remember, but
At
I
that
was
point of time.
getting, yeah, village girl. My English was not that perfect. So, and it was more of a Shakespeare type of exam, not the kind
Wow.
of the one that we did for SPM, more of the 111,
Right.
Anyway, I didn't make it. I didn't make the cut to enter architecture school. However, I got an offer to continue doing architecture in Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, RMIT. They have a very good architecture school. But me being naive, I do not want to travel to Melbourne. I don't have friends because I already make friends in Brisbane. So I was telling the student advisor in Sydney, how can I actually make up to the uh, credit that required for me to be in architecture school? And he said that go and register in any of the sciences subject, because the prerequisite to enter architecture school is about science and mathematics. So score, if you score there, and then you probably will be accepted the year after. So I did, because I wanted to gather points. I actually enrolled to study degree in applied science and applied chemistry. Everything applied means there's a lot of subjects taken. So I was very ambitious. In fact, one semester I was doing 8 or 9 subjects.
Woo,
Just,
that's a lot of
just to
subjects.
get the points. So that's how I get myself into science. And honestly, I enjoyed it, because somehow the lecturers, when they teach us science, it make you become passionate, and it's so enjoyable as compared to what you studied during SPM. I
Yeah.
hate chemistry, but that doesn't mean that I failed my chemistry. I was doing quite well, not that well, but okay. But when I went to Australia, they made me, my at maths was almost perfect. I was hardly getting a passing mark when I was in boarding school. And then the chemistry becomes something interesting and something you want to explore further. And true enough, my first year result was quite really good actually. I got the score that I wanted to go into architecture school. Then I thought that the interest is really there. So I told the student advisor, can I stay doing science? Because that will be another 2 years to complete. If I move to architecture school, I'm going to spend another 4 years in Australia. So he said, yeah, it's up to you. Because PETRONAS is also looking for good chemists, he said. Oh yeah, why not? 2 years, 2 years more to study. Let's do it. So I'll continue doing applied chemistry. And true enough, I graduated on time. No failure, nothing. And we make it. There was another lady, Petronas, also joined together with me, 2 of us. We were in the same class. And yeah, we completed on time. We flew back, and true enough, we got a job immediately after we graduated, a few months after that. And then Malaysia went on recession, and it was difficult to get jobs after that. So we were the lucky bunch. I think if I would continue to do architecture, I probably would end up being, a loser, probably don't get a job. But they were building twin towers then.
Sometimes,
So
life works in mysterious ways, right?
exactly. You plan something, but well, almost the best planner. We don't know about that, and you do. In my case, I wasn't sure what would be the best area for me to explore. You're so naive. Out from SPM, there were a lot of subjects you do not know which one actually interests you more. So
I,
until you see the reality in front of you, then that's how you
I got a
started.
sense. I got a sense that science is not your first choice. Uh, and you don't really fell in love with science at first sight, right? Actually, how did you actually get around to falling in love with chemistry and finding your
To
passion
to be
in this
fair,
area,
not
right?
to be fair, we only learn chemistry. But once you get into the degree of chemistry, there's so many branches of chemistry.
Mm.
Physical chemistry, separation chemistry. There were analytical, inorganic, organic. I hate some of them. For example, I hate organic chemistry. It's so difficult. I don't understand why people really want to be bothered looking at the long chain, making up your, hydrocarbon chain, and to make whatever polymer or things like that. I don't like it. But there are also branches like physical and separation chemistry that interest me so much, because I enjoy looking into the thermodynamics of it. I enjoy looking why you you understand why the water flows from one side to another, things like that. So there are parts that you really enjoy, and you actually score during your exam, and there are parts that you're lacking, but you just make it just enough to complete your degree.
Right.
And when you're working, you're not using art. And again, like I said, when you combine the science and mathematics together, the love of mathematics, especially when you're doing advanced, I think the problem in Malaysia, where we are in secondary school, the technique that they're teaching us makes it so difficult. Okay? But when you get the real lecturers, they somehow teach you the right way, the magic behind maths that make you fall in love and you love maths. And I can easily score every time, mathematics subject. So that would be my target. So targeting the right subject, focusing on that, and that's the key to success in getting your degree on time.
Right. And you actually continue pursuing your passion into the research world, right? And you've done so much.
When I joined PETRONAS back in 1987, and they were transforming PETRONAS. It was only a lab services department, very small laboratory. I was in a department where you look into crude oil, the characteristic of crude oil. And then 5 years later, they transformed the place. They wanted to do a research institution. So the first thing that they wanted to do is to send as many people to do their masters or PhD in science. So I was actually sent to UK to do my masters in research. And I had a boss then who he actually told me that if you think that you want to pursue further doing your PhD, do it. Don't come back. Although it used to be seniority basis before that, but I took his advice. And when I went to UK, I told my supervisor, he's a very nice guy. He said, I said, I only have 3 years. If I can, I want to complete my master's and PhD. Can I make it that way? Yeah, definitely, he said. And he gave me a guideline that I need to do my master's in research, but after a year, upon successful completion of a certain part of research, and then I can convert to MPhil, and the third year we convert to PhD. Okay, but I told him that I only have 3 years because my husband actually sacrificed his he was taking unpaid leave. He sacrificed, but I promised him 3 years. If I couldn't make it within 3 years, we're going back to Malaysia. And so I was pushing myself. And Alhamdulillah, the area that I was working on for my PhD is something like, again, my passion to know more. So that's how I worked together with my supervisor to explore that area. And, in research, it's not about being perfect. There's nothing perfect. But it's about understanding why things happen, why the theory that you studied, in the textbook are being applied during your research. It's about that. But if there would be area that you don't get any result, be it, you can't be working until you crack your brain and I can't complete my PhD because I did not get the result. But as long as you understand why things don't go that way, it's okay. Put it in your thesis. And in fact, it was the best chapter I've written because what happened was that there was a chapter that I did not get what I planned to deliver. But I understood every single theory that didn't happen in that research. And true enough, the thesis it became a reference to the next student who came in, and he actually got it done. Because you can't expect that everything you're going to be able to solve. Let someone else solve it because you could have that limited knowledge, So he actually did a better job than me in that chapter. He wrote a thesis and he actually sent a copy of his thesis to me after I graduated. But that doesn't mean, you fail, fine, but you actually help other people. You recommended other people to tackle the problem a different way. Do not repeat the same mistake.
Sounds like a researcher is the grandfather of people with agile mindsets, right? I mean, like now
Why are you
agile is
putting
all the
researchers
rage
to
these days.
all?
Now agile is all the rage these days. But
Oh yeah.
researchers are agility is already part of research in that sense, right?
Oh yeah. You have to because that's how you have to play around. It's not about you want to trick because you in research you know what you're aiming for, okay? But if you don't get it, you cannot twist your result assuming that you actually has arrived to the end point. You can't do that. If you don't get it, tell people why you don't get it. It's okay. But that's the problem with some researchers because they want to be a perfection. They want to perfect their research until they got what they want as per theory. I remember my supervisor, and I was working with an industrial partner,
Right.
late Professor Ken Sadden. He said to me that don't believe in everything you read in journal papers. Some of them are, you know, just for the sake of writing papers.
Just
So
for the sake of the KPIs.
yes, because everyone wants to get PhD, they have to write papers. Sometimes those results in that papers are actually uh,
You,
make
I
up
would say.
stories. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, right, right,
yeah.
right.
So
Um,
so
um,
that's how the interest or the passion and somehow along the journey, I feel that God has gave me the age of becoming a researcher and understanding what should be done in any of the research.
and and you actually got a not just one doctorate, right? You actually got two PhDs, right?
well,
That's something that's amazing, right? Chemical process
the one that
technology and
I
physical
actually wrote,
chemistry.
yeah, the one I actually wrote thesis was the one that I got the first one from University of Leeds in UK. The second one because of my effort in putting together industry and university, that was from Queen's University of Belfast. We have a good partnership with them. We actually nurture a lot of talent from that partnership. I think a lot of PETRONAS researchers got their PhD, and we got a lot of patent because of that partnership. So, as a way of honoring of our effort, they granted me a second doctorate in science and engineering, and with distinction. And the best
Uh,
part was I've never graduated. I never attended any graduation ceremony, be it my degree, be it my PhD in UK. Upon completion, you go back to Paradise, you start working. And when degree, you have limited resources for you to fund
true,
to fly back to Australia. So I've
true.
never attended any graduation ceremony.
From
But when they gave
from
me,
a bachelor. From a bachelor
yeah,
till you retire. Wow. I mean,
yeah,
it's not about the. I think it's about the satisfaction rather than just climbing on the
yeah.
stage, because that's just vanity a bit to the sense,
Yeah,
right?
but the second PhD, I was a guest of honor. They fully
Ah,
paid my expenses to go to Belfast, and I had to give a speech in front of the big hall for the graduates. So it's like something like wow, it's a lifetime achievement and
achievement.
experience. Yeah, and you have a special dinner hosted because of you. They even have Indonesian singers during that night because you are from Malaysia. So it
Wow.
was truly special, and they really go to that. They went to that extent to actually appreciate and honor you.
Right.
Mm.
Dr. Shad, I mean, you are not just a researcher, right? I think I mentioned earlier, you also a CEO in that sense, right? And a lot of researchers, they just become a researcher till they retire. But slightly different trajectory over time. I mean,
Yeah.
achieve a lot, but and how did you actually make that career transition? And what does it take for someone to climb towards the CEO ladder, right?
One thing for sure, I know that I will not be someone that will be doing the same job for many years. I don't like
Right,
that. And I put that whoever my boss, my superior, I would tell them that I will not want to stay at the same position for many years. Okay. So even as a researchers in Petronas Research, people say that you've been in Petronas Research for probably donkey years, a long time. But I was doing something different every time. I wasn't a researcher. I was pushing myself, and I was put as the head of process technology. And that's how I learned that it's not about being a researcher, it's about using your technical knowledge to manage people.
right,
So because you understand what your fellow staff are doing, you are able to manage them. You are able to put some human touch in whatever problem that they're facing because you've done it before. And
right.
then that's how I climbed the ladder. Then I was appointed as general manager in process technology. That was a big group, the biggest I ever, and it was so scary because I've never managed so many people, and they put different group of people from facilities engineering, process technology, environment. Everybody was reporting to me, and I had to learn. And the thing about me is I don't mind learning. I don't
Right.
mind going down the ground to understand what the environment people are doing. I don't mind looking to what facilities engineering all about, looking to the pipeline. And so I don't mind putting on that cap, the yellow jacket, to go to the plant and go together with them and understand what they're doing. So you got to be with people. You got to understand what they're doing. Otherwise, you're not able to speak their language. So initially it was difficult because you got to learn to know how they're working and
Right.
what are they working on. Similarly, when I was appointed the CEO, I was from a downstream side, working on
Right.
process technology, and they put me also upstream people. I don't understand what's upstream all about. It was tough, people looking at me, she's downstream person. She wouldn't understand what we are doing. So I had to learn what's geoimaging all about. I had to learn what's process petroleum engineering all about. So, but that learning process are working together with people and learning. So people don't realize that, but I had to spend extra of my time to understand what they are doing. Otherwise, I will not be able to make decision. I will not be able to understand what my researchers are doing. So it took me a few months or years in some areas. Some areas are common sense, so I would probably know can do faster, but some areas are just too difficult for me to understand.
So it's
So
about having a passion of people and that thirst of knowledge to just learn and be able to pick up fast, right? Is there anything?
you cannot stop learning. I
Right,
mean, it doesn't matter despite of being, your age or your position, you cannot stop learning. Every day you should learn new things. It's like reading books. You cannot stop reading books because those are knowledge. So that's why I spend sometimes at night, I read storybooks, something so fiction that I cannot, I want my mind to rest rather than overthinking. So I
right.
don't like, to be honest, I don't like to read management books because I had enough of the truth rather than reading what people are writing. But I do like to read any of the, simple books like you can enjoy the stories, So even if you miss a page, it's okay. You still can understand the stories.
I believe, I mean, your character and the things that you've done as a CEO keeps you busy even post retirement, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
you are doing a lot
I,
of
I,
stuff.
I
You're
don't
still
think
learning.
yeah. I have my bucket list, and retiring a year ago, I started to evaluate this bucket list. Are this something I want? And then start making additional bucket lists because I thought these are, it's about preparing for my next life also. So it's
Right.
about resting, it's about being healthy, because when I was a CEO, I don't think I have enough time to think about myself. It's about all serving people. So this is the time that I want to sit down and ponder what should I be doing for myself. So sometimes it's not about being selfish, but it's about this is the time that you want to reflect what you have done, what you have not done. So that's why I've been spending time, and
Mm.
more reason that I enjoy things that I want to do now. I have more time to catch up with family and friends, and I have time to actually give back to the community. I work together with Yayasan Petronas to give talk to Malaysian teachers, making sure they understand what are the needs of the students in secondary school. I'm now
Mm.
working with academic science on building talent papers, and that papers will be presented to the parliament once we have a new government. Definitely, I'm
Wow.
so glad. So we have more time. So these are the things that I feel that it's time for me to give back to the
It's more
nation.
fulfilling, I would say, right?
It is. It is. I mean, as long as I enjoy it. If I think that I won't enjoy it, I can always say no. That's the beauty of retiring. Mm.
So sounds like you have got a couple of things figured out when you retire, right? Maybe some of my viewers are about 5, 10 years away to retirement. Some of them are quite young. So maybe having looked back, maybe is there something different, or what do people need to think about before they retire in that sense, right? I mean, like having gone through
Uh,
this, you mentioned about not having your own time and so forth and everything, right?
mm. Well, again, I probably am lucky because I have 4 kids and all of them has graduated. So I think
Mm.
that's something I can clear off my shoulder, that all 4 of them got their degree. So if they want to pursue to the next level, that's on their own. At least
Mm.
I've done my responsibility of making sure the kids have got, the basic education, which is at least getting the degree, and all of them are already working. 3 of them has already married, and I only have 1 grandchild. People always tease you like every time you retire, oh, enjoy looking after your grandchild. But I think it's something, a message that I'm very clear that that's not the reason why I retire. It's not about helping my kids, to look after my grandchild. Yeah, I enjoy it, but it's not something I want to do full time. And the kids understand, and I think my children understand that mama wants to have her time now, because she has been working so hard day and night. Even sometimes at night you can't help it, you have to reply your emails, you have to check
Right.
your phone. You have to, despite you're trying to shut off from work, you can't. So this is the time that you really want, but I do not want to have the brain to be just dead and doing nothing related to my area or specialization. So that's why I want to give back to the community that way. So I welcome people who wants me to share my experiences over talk or things like that. Yeah, I do welcome that. Today I got
Right.
another invitation to talk at a woman conference next year. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I believe you've got lots of from this conversation. You have lots of words of wisdom that we can emulate and also learn as well. Like, but we are actually coming towards the end of the session. Maybe those other couple of party words of wisdom that you could impart on us, on our viewers. I mean, having gone all through this, right? Um, anything that we can uh, remember, or have a catchphrase or something like that.
I think my first advice or sharing would be for women out there, or ladies
Mm.
who want to be a career woman. A lot of, the statistic that a lot of people graduated, lady, you have a lot of young girls graduated, but where they are in the working world, men are dominating. But
Mm.
in university, the ladies are dominating. But they're gone. The moment that they enter working life. Only some of them lasted probably 5 years, and after that, they go back to looking after their children. They don't go to work. They are not career women at all. But you know, to me, it is give and take. You got to work together with your other half, because prior to your marriage, he understand that you are a working woman. So in anything, work together, have a support system, because I don't think I can achieve what I have achieved without a good support system. And that is my other half and also my family. So similarly, work together with them. It's about telling them that this is what you want to have in your life, and this is what we need to work together to get both parties get what they wish for. So I think for women out there who are working, who have young kids, be brave. Be brave to talk it out. Be brave to discuss with your husband, even if you're not married, if you have a male-dominated community, be brave to be part of them. I don't see when I was working that gender is a problem. I do have sometimes attend conference that I'm the only lady speaker and the rest
Right.
are men. I do have that. Recently, when I was working with academic science, I was the only woman in the room. I look around and the rest are all men participants. Where are all the ladies? But I think there are a lot of strong women out there, and they just need to give it out and be courageous to tell them, and they can produce fantastic results. So to me, be brave, be courageous, and wanting integrity and humility is always something
Right.
that you have to hold. Not
Right.
just women, everyone. In working with human is about being, humble, and make sure integrity is the first rule in anything that you do.
My experience working with you, Dr. Shad, I believe your strength is also understanding the human side of things, and I think this is
Oh, wow.
actually the strength of a
You
lot
haven't
of
worked
women
with me
leaders.
long then. Okay.
Right. So you mentioned earlier, Dr. Shad, that you actually do talks and so forth and everything. So for my viewers out here, who likes to actually know more about your talks or attend your sessions and stuff like that, how do they get in touch with you, or how do they know where are you going to be giving talks and stuff like that, right? If they are
Well,
interested to be part of that conversation.
I'm reachable through my email, of course, shat2103@gmail.com. So you can always email me on your request, and then you let me know what do you want me to talk about, your type of audience. So that would be how we tailor-made our stories then. It's easier. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Shad, for your time.
Sure. Thanks to you,
It's
Yazid.
been an amazing time catching up with you, and we've learned so many things from your experience, from being a researcher to a CEO of one of the top research areas in Malaysia, and this is very great for my viewers and also for the content. Thank you very much, Dr. Shad, for
I
your
hope I
time.
have inspired, if not all, some of you out there. And I really hope I see more success story from each one of you from Malaysia also. Yeah, and nothing is impossible. We can do it,
If you have the courage, right? I think this is the courage.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shad. It has
All
been
right.
a great pleasure. All right. To my viewers over there, if you like this content, please share this with others, and obviously subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. Until then, I'm Yazik, signing off from the podcast Picture of Success. Until next time, have a great day ahead.